the point in the chapter on that
電話のコードを
face.
切って回ってたのリカちゃんだろ。ダメだよ、もうおっしゃ。
僕には何のことかよくわかりませんのですよ。
I don't need to see that face that close either.
本当にかい？
She tried to play dumb, but it was written all over her face.
ニパー。
No, not buying it. It was obvious she was trying to laugh it off, but that adorable smile of hers just made me want to forgive her. Not me. I'm gonna be a horrible father, aren't I? That momentary lapse in tension was erased by her next words.
孫、無事に見つかってよかったです。
Uh-huh. Unable to respond right away, I sunk into silence. I'd already learned this from Sato-san's info, didn't I? The girl, no, this entire village, knew everything since the moment I set foot in it. I considered playing dumb, but in the end I chose not to. With everything being known already, there was no point in me feigning ignorance.
なんとかね。
それはよかったです。これで東京に帰れますですよ。
ありがとう。
赤坂の怪我はひどいのですか？
さあ、ひどいのかどうか、医者の診察を聞いてないからわからないな。
Huh? Come to think of it, I vaguely remembered being told to lie down and take it easy for at least 24 hours. Did that mean bed rest?
怪我人は病院を抜け出してはいけないのですよ。
Can we move back to smaller picture of Rika, please? That would be good.
電話のコードだって切っちゃいけないんだぞ。
みー。僕には何のことやらわからないのです。
Uh-huh.
じゃあこっちだって何のことかわからないや。
As we played dumb with each other, we both laughed at the same time. Yeah, I have that. The fact that the kid is fine doesn't reassure me. If somebody saw us laughing at each other like this, it would probably bring a smile to their lips, or they'd be calling, help, because we're talking about a man with bandages on his head in a hospital get-up, laughing next to the town mascot.
赤坂が生きてこの村を出られる確率は
Thanks.
決して高くありませんでした。僕は赤坂に死んでほしくはないので、生きて村を出ることができて嬉しいです。
リカちゃん、最初っから私の正体は知ってたんだろ？
She said nothing, but gave a firm nod.
なら分かっていると思うけど、私たちはこの村のどちらかというと敵の部類に入ると思う。なのに君はいろいろと忠告してくれたね。
That's right. She said it at that time. She wouldn't warn somebody that she was okay with dying. She definitely said something like that.
なら私は君に感謝するべきなのかもしれないね。
感謝した方がいいのですよ。僕は命の恩人なのです。
Uh-huh. Saying that, she puffed up her chest proudly. She said it jokingly, but the meaning behind those words was quite heavy. That was because whether I lived or died was a decision that might have been made in a place unbeknownst to me. She said those words with such an adorable smile that it took a few moments of silence for their weight to settle in. I'd been to this place before. The Defense Alliance's office was there. It was the stone steps leading up to the Furude shrine. When I passed by before, I was so focused on finding a phone booth that I hadn't realized where I was.
確かこの神社がリカちゃんの家だったよね。
まあそんなものです。
Looking up at the shrine grounds, it was brightly lit and energetic voices could be heard. What was going on?
今日は
Not
お
my
祭りの日
problem.
なので
That's
すよ。
what's going on. It is not my problem. I'm going back to the hospital.
お祭り？
Oh God. No. It's not Watanagashi already, is it?
ひなみ沢村の唯一で
It
一番
is.
のお
Oh
祭り。
God damn it.
綿流しのお祭りです。
That we're running. We are running. We are running.
綿流し？
祭りなんて名ばかりのつまらないものですよ。見ますですか？
She asked bluntly, but seeing that I looked interested, she climbed up a couple of steps and motioned for me to come. Dude, hospital, now! I was only going to go back and sleep anyways. You should be sleeping now! If I had nothing else to do, it might not be a bad idea to go with her on a little detour. Okay, dude. I had respect for your intelligence and instincts. You're wiping all that out. You should be going back to hospital, like right now. In the hostile territory that was this village, I didn't know what would happen if I ventured down a side road without Oishi. Even though I thought of the village like that, when I was with this girl, I forgot all about it. In any case, even without anything to back it up, I felt that as long as I was with her, none of the ill will from the village would befall me. That's why, even though I knew my cover was blown, I strangely had no qualms about setting foot in the heart of the Onagafuji Defense Alliance's territory. Climbing up to the grounds of the shrine, I could see that there were about 3 pavilions set up with meeting tables and folding chairs. The old folks from the village, now the executives of the Defense Alliance, were already quite drunkenly sharing another round of drinks. He may be hypnotized by Nipa, but he shouldn't have got himself in that position in the first place. I could only see it as people from the village council drinking while enjoying the evening air. At the very least, it was certainly quite different than any festival I'd ever seen.
ね、つまんないお祭りでしょ。
これは確かにお祭りには見えないね。
大昔からずっと続いてきたお祭りですが、見ての通り、すっかり寂れてしまったのですよ。
As if to chide the old folks, she said that while looking at them with an exasperated expression. You really couldn't call this a festival anymore. It was just a bunch of neighbors getting together to drink under the guise of a festival.
これじゃ祀られる神様も気の毒だな。
Yeah, that does sound a little creepy. Now that you're here, we can get to the true purpose of this festival.
こんなみっともないお祭りも5、6年もすると村中が総出でやってきて、
That's about right.
ちゃんと儀式も真面目にやる立派なお祭りになるのですよ。
What she said was not so much wishful thinking as it was the telling of a future that had already been determined. She wasn't even predicting it. It was almost like she was simply reporting the results. That's how it sounded. Even though it was a baseless speculation, the way she said it wouldn't let me interject. It was the same way she talked when she changed. While I struggled to find the words to reply to her, she wandered over to the other side of the grounds, not minding me at all. not in a state where I could afford to be left behind, I hurriedly followed after her. Passing through a copse of pine trees, a strong and cool breeze ruffled my hair. There, from that one evening, was the splendid observation platform the girl had showed me. As it had grown completely dark, the modest lights littered across the nightscape were providing a different type of scenery.
こうして眺めると、この村ものどかそうに見えますのです。
So does the duck when it's on a pond. She said that with an indifferent look on her face.
君は先日、この村は絶対にダムに沈むことはないと、そう断言したね。
She didn't reply, seemingly relishing in the feeling of the wind blowing through her hair.
あれは、あの時点でもう、大臣が要求に応じていたという意味だったんだね。
She spun around, her gaze meeting mine, but she said nothing. She spoke nothing that would either confirm or deny what I had just said.
多分、今回の事件は闇から闇へ葬られる。本庁上層部は多分大臣のスキャンダルが公になってトラブルになることを望まないと思う。
さもないと、孫を殺すぞと脅したに違いないのです。
で、大臣との交渉が成功し、孫は解放された。
孫を助けたのは赤坂ですよ。
どうだろう。発端となったあの財布の発見。あれ自体がすでに出来すぎだったように思う。
Ever since the moment the wallet was discovered, I felt something was odd. Oishi said it as well, that the Sonozaki family had given the order to release the hostage, meaning that our little manhunt was a farce to begin with. Come to think of it, I was punched, kicked, and had a gun pointed at me. I felt like they put up quite a fight, but that might have been all part of a good performance. Once the negotiations were successful, they couldn't just say, "Here you go," and return the minister's grandson right to his doorstep. They knew that public safety had realized that this was a kidnapping case and were moving in on it. That's why, due to the actions of public safety, the grandson was able to be rescued safely. So the minister didn't give in to any unreasonable demands. That type of performance was necessary.
僕には難しいことはよくわかりません。
Yes, he can do the think, unless he's mesmerized by Nipa.
同感だな。私にだって難しいことはよくわからない。だが、一つ確実なことがある。君が言った通りってことさ。この村はダム湖になんか沈まない。ダム計画なんてそのうちなくなってしまうってことさ。
That wasn't something an officer of the law should be saying, but I naturally let those words slip from my mouth. The village may have stirred up all sorts of trouble, but that was because they were protecting their homes. If someone just decided by themselves that I had to leave the house I was used to living in, I would resent them as well. On top of that, it wasn't a place like mine where I just happened to be renting it, but a place that their families had lived for generations. It might be ignorant to call their desperate resistance an overreaction. I might not really be qualified to criticize politics or bureaucracy, but deliberately building a dam on land that was loved by its residents wasn't something I could get behind.
でも、よかったじゃないか。
どうしてですか？
Why this vantage point?
少なくともこれで、この村に平和が戻るよ。
Even though the minister promised to use his considerable influence to cancel the project, it'd probably take more than a few months before it would be completely scrapped. At the very least, it would probably take 1 or 2 years. For the officials to officially hear that their village wasn't going to be submerged at the bottom of a dam was still a ways away. But it was no mistake that the promise of peace returning to the village was there. It turned out, from beginning to end, that it had already been decided. Just as the girl had said, it was decided. There wasn't really a need for me to come here in the first place. There was absolutely no need for me to have come here and aggravate an unpleasant situation. If I had never come here, then the grandson's release might have been done in a more amicable manner.
平和がこの村に
When I nodded, she laughed as if to admonish me. But her face remained indifferent, expressionless. And then her eyes narrowed slightly as she snickered.
これから毎年血生臭いことが起きるのに
Oh God.
リカちゃん、何の話だい？
As the wind blew her hair about, the girl, as if taking pleasure in that I was the only one who didn't know, continued to snicker as she looked at my face for a while.
私ね、あと何年かすると殺されるの。
Huh? Backlit by the moon, it was hard to tell if her expression that had been cast in shadow was smiling, amused, or resigned.
リカちゃんがどうして？
とても不愉快なことだけど、それも多分決まってることなの。
決まっているって、誰がそんなことを決めるんだい？
それを私も知りたいの。
Turning back to face me, she showed me a resolute expression for the first time. And after staring into my eyes for a moment, she turned back to gaze at the scenery before she spoke her next words.
ここは人の命を何とも思わない連中でいっぱいです。これを伝えても何も変わらないかもしれないけど、でも死という月を映す水面をかき消すためなら小石を投じることもあるかもしれない。
I had no idea what she was trying to say. It's just, I had to listen to every word with my body and soul, or at least that's what I thought.
来年の今日、そう、昭和54年の6月の今日、ダム現場の監督が殺されます。
For a moment, I couldn't comprehend what she was talking about. By the foreman, did she mean that gruff old man I played mahjong with?
殺されるって、どうして？
She didn't answer. But she had the same expression on her face as she did when she declared that the dam project would go away. That wasn't the face of somebody making a forecast or a prediction. I don't know exactly how old she's supposed to be, but 6 wouldn't be far off. It was something that was already decided. No, it was as she was already reporting the results. That sort of expression.
恐ろしい殺され方をした後、体中をバラバラに引き裂かれて捨てられてしまいます。
What is giving her this knowledge? So she is 6, okay.
バラバラ殺人。
その翌年の昭和55年の6月の今日、
Morphogenic fields. Please don't cross that over with this. Please. Let's not do that right now.
聡子の両親が突き落とされて死にます。
Satoko. It was the first time I heard that name, but I didn't have the courage to interrupt the girl's story.
あるいは事故と言うべきかもしれない。不幸な事故。
An unfortunate accident. My hand slipped. The girl smiled faintly, but she wasn't exactly encouraging me to smile along with the lifeless look in her eyes.
そしてさらにその翌年の昭和56年の6月の今日、私の両親が殺されます。そしてさらに翌年の昭和57年の6月の今日、聡子の意地悪おばが頭を割られて死にます。そしてさらに翌年の昭和58年の6月の今日、
Everybody dies!
あるいはその数日後か。私が殺されます。
Along with everybody else. Yeah, to Akasaka, this is completely useless information, really.
すべての死が予定調和なら、最後の死もまた予定のうちなのでしょうか。でもならばこれは一体誰の予定なの？
It's all Keiichi's fault. Somehow. This village is full of murderers and people who have no regard for human life. It would be fine to believe that all the deaths up to 1982 would be the work of somebody in the village. It would be fine to believe... It'd be fine to believe that all the deaths that would occur were at the discretion of those who control the village. But that didn't explain what would happen in 1983. There was no way that the last death would fit in with anyone's plans. They had no regard for human life. They would use every means at their disposal to meet their goals. But their goals were at odds with the last death. That's why the last death was unrelated to them. But that last death would definitely, most likely, probably, without question, happen. Probably, definitely, I dare say. The last death would be a merciful one. A handkerchief or something being placed over their mouth, making them lose consciousness, never to wake up again. Exactly whose plan was that?
私は幸せに生きたい。望みはそれだけ。大好きな友人たちに囲まれて楽しく日々を過ごしたい。
Yeah, there's some bad news involving the whole peaceful death thing for you there, Rika.
それだけなの？
I'm pretty sure we've seen you cry blood at least once on your corpse.
それ以上の何も望んでいないの。
リカちゃん。
死にたくない。
The girl, stoic as ever, let those last words slip in the end. Eventually, we were discovered by some drunks. The girl, as well as I, were dragged back to the festivities. Somehow, I don't think burning the shrine would solve a problem. It might make me feel better. Everybody was completely drunk, so even when they saw my head completely wrapped in bandages, they wouldn't let me leave. Only hit the button once. Stop that. Well, certainly, if I was in good enough condition to slip out of the hospital, it must not be that serious. The girl was mingling with everybody, being pampered like a kitten. Her expression was adorable, nothing like the one from just before. Predicting her own death and whispering that she didn't want to die. Having said that, Having a silly and lively conversation like this, it was hard to believe that these people were the core of an extremist resistance group. Even if it was a shell of its former self, it was a festival where people in the village gathered. So the 20-some-odd folk here should have included some of the village executives and other important members. Among those, there was no doubt that there were members that were at the Sonozaki Family Council in attendance. Meaning, even if we never met face-to-face before, there were people here who knew my identity. In a small village like this, they knew the faces of all the villagers that lived here. That's why, even without saying anything, it soon became obvious that I was an outsider. But they actually seemed interested by that, asking me all sorts of questions about Tokyo, drinking while musing on the faint relationship the city had with the villagers, and empathizing with the rather meager environment. The confidential talks with the minister were finished. His grandson was in police custody. Everything was over. I might not have to put in another perilous situation. To me, they were only my adversaries because of my job. Outside of that, there was no reason I couldn't be friendly with them. The next time I visited this village, which will be never, would it return to being a tranquil and beautiful place? If that happened, I might be able to take a relaxed walk around the village with her again. My cup was once again filled to the brim with beer. By the time I was able to get away, it was the middle of the night. The girl had at some point disappeared. It seems that her parents had told her to go home and sleep when she let out a large yawn. The old folks, who had absolutely no remorse for making an injured man hang out with them, told me as much as they laughed. I was just there drinking, so I thought to help a bit with cleanup. However, my help was refused on the grounds that I was a guest. On top of that, they had a car prepared to take me back to the hospital. Losing the battle against my sleepiness inside the car, I was sound asleep until we reached the parking lot of the hospital. The front door of the hospital was naturally locked at this hour. I wandered around bewilderedly searching for a back entrance until somebody on night duty found out and let me inside.
こんな時間までどちらへ？入江先生も心配してましたよ。
ご迷惑をおかけしました。神社でお祭りの人たちに引き止められまして。
ああ、そういえば今日は神社で町会の人たちが集まって飲むとか言ってたな。それはご愁傷様でした。傷は大丈夫ですか？
ちょっとズキズキしますね。多分アルコールのせいだと思います。
そうだ。お連れの刑事さんが連絡が欲しいと言ってましたよ。
いけない。大石さんを待たせてたんだった。
I glanced at the clock. No matter how you looked at it, it was way too late to call him now. I'll apologize to him tomorrow over the phone. I returned back to my hospital room and slipped into the bed that was still unmade from the time I went outside. Oh, that's no good. I have to turn off the lights. But my weariness had cut the cord powering my body, lulling me into a deep sleep. We hit the end of the chapter. Everything seems pleasant enough. I mean, it's pretty much gone exactly like we assumed it might go. Achievement unlocked. Prophecy at the beginning. Fair enough. Yeah, this chapter pretty much seemed to reveal that Rika knew that everything was going to happen the way it did. Mother's Diary. There was something I didn't like about my child. I first realized it when I started writing these things down. They never warn you about it in any books about raising children, but they aren't just a plaything. I mean, wait, you needed somebody to tell you that a kid was not a plaything. Huh? Okay. If they aren't able to feel loved even when they're not doing exactly as their parents want them to, then those parents are failures. This wasn't something like that, though. How can I say it? It's probably harder to express with mere words. I just want my child to be average. As long as they weren't falling behind, there wasn't any need for them to excel at something. As long as they acted appropriately for their age, I would have been fine with it. But my child had been different ever since kindergarten. While the children in her class were running around in excitement about a field trip the next day, she only wore a bored look on her face, aloof and distant. When the other kids broke the equipment for the athletics festival and were apologizing fervently, she only wore a bored look on her face, aloof and distant. When the teacher was reading a fun picture book, only she wasn't smiling. Even if they all got to eat a delicious bento, only she wasn't happy. If it was only this, it would still be in the realm of understanding. However, what I don't understand about my child is that if the aforementioned situations happen again, they'd now act in a manner befitting their age. I don't understand the principle behind that as a parent. Why were they indifferent about that field trip but happy about this one? Why were they indifferent about that picture book but happy about this one? Why were they indifferent about that bento but happy about this one? The former and the latter in each situation seem exactly the same to me. There were even times when I thought the former one was better. I don't understand that child's feelings. During parent-teacher meetings, the teacher always says the same thing. And I would always respond that I don't understand my own child, and we would mope together. My husband, always the optimist, once said that the young child's feelings are different from an adult's, so if there were some things we didn't understand, we shouldn't worry about it. I lament his lack of urgency. One day, when I was in a good mood, I took the effort to prepare a menu that my child would enjoy, but she only smiled with a vague expression of disinterest. That attitude frankly made me angry, so I hit her on the head. We are wonderful parents. On a day when the weather was nice, the laundry I had just hung up to dry was blown by a large gust of wind, causing the entire line to fall down. But she, watching me trying to pick up the laundry in a panic, stood there laughing. That attitude frankly made me angry, so I hit her on the head. Oh, we're wonderful parents, aren't we? I think the same sort of thing happened countless times. Before I knew it, my child was only able to look at me with an indifferent expression on her face. I regret the fact that I've been a bad mother. Thinking I should regain her trust, I thought to get it back little by little with some light interactions. Seeing her do some sort of craft work on the veranda, I called out to her.
ここ数日、気持ちのいい晴れの日が続いて、気分がいいわね。
Was there ever any doubt it was Rika's mom? I mean... That child, with that indifferent look on her face I hated so much, looked up at me for a moment, then without a word returned to immersing herself in her craft work. Up until now, I would have hit her on the head just for that. I held myself back.
何を作ってるの？お人形さん？てるてる坊主。
The child was using inserts from the newspaper to deftly make some weather charms. The forecast hadn't called for rain. But that child, in her own way, was praying that these sunny days would continue. Being able to understand my own child for the first time in a while, I couldn't hide my own happiness. Bringing out a ball of yarn, I began to chain my child's cute weather charms from the eaves of the house.
ダメよ、リカ。
Yeah, son, and all voodoo doll of you. Look how well it burns. Yes.
頭が重すぎるから、ほら。逆さてるてる坊主になっちゃったわ。これじゃ晴れじゃなくて雨になっちゃうわよ。
When I started to take them down, my hit child tugged at the hem of my shirt as if to stop me.
逆さになるように作ったのだから、それでいいの。でもリカ、てるてる坊主が逆さじゃ晴れのおまじないにならないわよ。雨が降るようにおまじないをしているから、それでいいの。
Your kid likes the rain. I desperately suppressed the emotions welling up inside of me. I was trying desperately to understand my child.
そっか。お庭の朝顔が晴れ続きで元気がなくなっちゃったから、雨が欲しいのね。
The morning glories in the garden were starting to get a little from the sun, so you want some rain, right? It depends. We've gotten rain for like a brief period of time, like every day for the last few weeks. I'm kind of tired of rain.
晴れにね。飽きたの。
I don't understand. I don't understand. I just can't understand that child. I mean, it's not that hard. It really isn't. During the family council, she buried herself under Oryu-san's futon again. Oryu-san dotes on her unwaveringly. It's been warmer than that here. It's been about 10 to 20 degrees warmer than that Fahrenheit here on a constant basis, but it still manages to rain constantly. So yeah, between 95 and 105 Fahrenheit, yeah. No matter whatever insolence my child commits, she doesn't mind. It's almost as though my child is a kitten or something. Or you dotes on her exactly like you would with a kitten. As a mother, I chided her for doing that. Until Oryu-san had said 3 times that it was fine, I chided her as a formality. Of course, she never lends an ear to any of my chidings. Knowing that Oryu-san's standing was far above mine, she behaves like that. I don't like the cunning that's unbefitting of her age, either. In any case, not only Oryu-san, but the rest of the old folk in the village spoil her too much. One day I was surprised. By chance, on the way back from some shopping, I saw her by herself just outside a candy shop. My own child suddenly grabbed a snack, opened the package right there, and started eating it. She didn't make any attempt to pay for it, and she didn't even think of looking around. I didn't even feel like she was shoplifting, or like she were brazenly eating snacks that were offered to her. When I began to admonish my child, the elderly shop owner appeared and covered for her. The owner gave her the ridiculous excuse that he said it was okay for that child to eat any of the snacks out by the entrance, so it was fine. When I tried to pay for the snacks that my child had eaten, the owner refused my money. During that exchange, more old folks had suddenly gathered around, and it began to feel like I was the one in the wrong. The elderly people all put their hands together reverently in front of my child and repeatedly voiced their respects. Yeah, walking Oyashiro pedestal. Something like that. I was born into the Furuta family, so it wasn't like I didn't know why she was being treated specially. When I was still young, it was something I heard often from my grandmother. If by chance the child that I gave birth to was a girl, that child would be the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama. All the older folk here believe she's the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama and spoil her rotten. And not only did they spoil her, but they even told her she was the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama. That she had a divine power and threw all sorts of strange folktales her way. So she may have begun to believe herself that she was a special existence. I went around and told everybody that it wasn't good for her upbringing, so to stop telling her all these strange things, but there was no uprooting the elderly people's deep-seated superstitions. I told my child not to listen to them, but it ended up being that she stopped listening to me. The hits on the head had nothing to do with that, I'm sure. Between all the old folks in the village who would dote on her and myself who only scolded her, there was no wonder who she would listen to. There was no mistaking that the reason she had become strange was because of the elderly villagers. There was no doubt that they had shoved her full of strange folk tales and superstitions since she was young. And if it wasn't for that, there was no doubt my child would have been cute and normal. If it wasn't for you hitting her on the head, maybe that might have helped her make her listen to you. One sunny parent-teacher day. There was a cooking class and my child was making curry rice with a practiced hand. While the other children her age were awkwardly using their kitchen knives, that child was wielding hers deftly. The teacher approached me with a smile on their face, saying it must be a result of learning it at home. I managed to play it off with a vague smile and a nod in response. That was because I had never once taught my child how to make curry rice. Even then, she was peeling vegetables with a practiced hand, adding them to the pot, the order of which took longer to cook. For a normal parent, they might unintentionally clap their hands together, happy at their child's actions. But in my case, it was different. There was no mistaking that somebody had taught her how to make the curry rice when I wasn't taking care of her. Thinking that, I quietly fell into an unpleasant mood. And yeah, New Game Plus is about the only thing that makes sense here. When I asked, it seemed she could also sew and do the laundry. I never taught her how to do those, and again, never saw her do it around the house. Be it cooking, sewing, or the laundry. Again, that was probably because the elderly villagers taught her all sorts of rubbish when I wasn't looking. Not only that, they probably taught her all sorts of strange superstitions, trying to prop her up as the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama. I said as much to my husband, suggesting that we should keep our child away from the elderly folk. But my husband, who was in a position of being the head priest of the Furule shrine, had little power against the elderly who supported it. He took the rather uncommitted stance of saying that as long as she was being doted upon, wasn't it fine? I argued against that she was our child and should be a completely normal girl. That what the elderly were expecting, that she was the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama, was simply odd. The elderly villagers believe that child has divine powers. We would discuss the weather for the following day, but there were many times when I left the house without an umbrella and came back soaking wet. Rather than having clairvoyance, that was just secondhand knowledge from her watching the news all the time. The things that she knew she shouldn't have known were just a result of people who were trying to indoctrinate her and the people who were gossiping getting together in the village. However, there certainly were days when everybody thought it was going to be sunny all day and that child would stubbornly not go without an umbrella. It would occasionally rain and in the end we would be saved. There might have also been times when Rika knew of major accidents in foreign countries faster than the news did. Yeah. I thought she must have heard it break over the radio or something. Knowing things she shouldn't have, something like that, was in front of me right now, wasn't it? That child was making curry rice when there shouldn't have been anybody who taught her how to. Now, that couldn't possibly be the case. Somebody had taught her, indoctrinated her. When I wasn't taking care of her, somebody had indoctrinated Rika with something.
フルデさんのカレーは大変見事です。先生、花丸をあげちゃいます。
Well, if anybody's gonna praise curry, you want it to be Chie.
ニパー。フルデさんはお料理を誰に習いましたか？やっぱりお家で？はい、お家なのですよ。
The other parents in attendance were impressed. Lies. All lies. I didn't teach her anything. Who was it? Who was it? Who was the person who had completely indoctrinated my child? She was my normal, average daughter, not the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama. Says you. Oh! Final chapter! Okay, we've apparently only got one more chapter to go. Okay. That was the detective achievement that pops up when you read the last tip. So either we are at the final chapter, or the rest of the chapters aren't going to have tips. This is fast. This is 3 streams fast here. Okay. Okay.